let's say there's an executive that says, honestly, it's always been about me. It's always been about the results. And I delivered, but burned a lot of bridges, stepped on a lot of toes. Let's say they're speaking to you in a coaching, in a confidential conversation, this is not what they're putting out on their resume. And they're saying, I know I have not done well. And now I understand what it takes. I don't even trust you to call anyone who's worked with me to vouch for me. What does my road look like on the way to building trust so that I can then be trusted with, C-suite and possibly board leadership? Where do I start?
That's a good one. Because even in my own career, I can look at situations where I know that I was operating in the best interest of an organization, but can I pinpoint specific individuals to whom I would ask for a reference today? I'm not sure. And if I did, they might not be at the level of that board. They might be board adjacent, but I wouldn't necessarily go back to a board member or to a member of the operational arm of the organization. So it's a great question. And look, one of the traits of a good leader is being self-aware. And so I love that you started with the fact that this person openly tells you, I know I burnt bridges. And I know that from a performance perspective, I'm really good. I am competent at my job. I've demonstrated that, and I can give you the statistics and whatnot behind that. And at the same time, I know that I have burnt bridges. Now, the good thing is that most times, particularly in common law jurisdictions, you can be protected from the performance angle. Don't leave an organization without asking them to give you a certificate of service. That's very important, because if you think that nobody in that organization would vouch for you, leave with a certificate of service, which, unless you've left for a moral turpitudinal issue, will usually say this person worked in this or these capacities from this date to this date, and they performed to satisfaction. So if you're able to get a hold of those documents, do it, because that's your backup. You can still write to that organization and ask for that and put it into your file. Have that as your backup, because here's the truth. Even when you have a good referee, you can't really control what they're going to say about you. You can write to them and say, I am in the short list and in the running for this particular role. Here is the job description, here is the call, and can you write favorably about me and why it is I'm suitable or a good fit for the role? But the truth is, you never really know what they're going to say. Some referees are wonderful. They'll send you a copy, or they'll blind copy you in when they send in the reference. But that's not always the case. So sometimes these things are out of your control. So for the things that are within your control, make sure you have that backup information. And you can tell them within the interview that I have provided referees. However, I'm also happy to provide you with my certificates of service for the different roles that I've carried out. And then that way, the board is left with having to make a decision based on how you've performed in the moment, the evidence that you have presented them with, and whatever your referees are going to say.